Okay, good morning, people. I'm like, I took a shower and my eyes are itchy, so I've just been rubbing my face off for a bit. And, just setting up everything was funny. So, anyways, last year's gone. Welcome to a new year of probably even more craziness. But this week should be the week of Superdwarf eggs, so that's gonna be very exciting. I have Hercules here. He's a 4 year, I think he's a 4 year old or a 5 year old. He's like a 5 year old, 75% super dwarf purple albino. And he's the daddy of one of this year's clutches. I can't hang out with the girls as much because they're gravid or, yeah, hopefully that, well, I don't know if I want them all to give birth at the same time. That's kind of what seems to happen with me. I'll have like no nothing good happen, and then it's just like bam, I'll have too much, and then it's like now I gotta take care of them all. Sundays are usually a pretty chill day, so I get to look forward to cleaning poop for the rest of the day. But it's the life that I chose. I'm going to drink some coffee and wake up, but feel free to ask me anything. I'm here for you. I could be cleaning poo, but I'd rather be with you. That should be a t-shirt. What do you think? Then that too, I should probably be making like t-shirts and stuff. But then I don't really wear t-shirts. Well, I'm wearing a t-shirt now, but in general, I don't really like even wearing t-shirts. I always like wearing wife beaters. That's what they're called. Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's a more correct term for a wife beater because I was told, like, call it a tank top. I'm just like, when I think of a tank top, I don't think of a wife beater. I think of like one of those tube tops that has two little straps. I don't really want to wear one of those. But I went into Old Navy once and I said to the lady, do you guys have any wife beaters? And she's like, we don't call those that here. We don't call those that here. I'm like, well, what do you call them? She's like, tank tops. I'm like, if I go into a place and I ask for a tank top, I just feel like I give them the wrong impression. But like, yeah, if you like wearing tank tops, by all means, don't mean to offend anyone. It's just like I'm looking for something specific. I think the closest I can get is like, hi, I would like a men's ribbed shirt that has no arms. You mean like a wife beater? Yes. Oh, how did you know? Along with being a terrible year, there's also been some terrible movies. The new Mulan was the worst Disney movie I think I've ever seen. The new Wonder Woman, like Wonder Woman was awesome. The first Wonder Woman was amazing, but 1984, I don't know what the heck happened. They're like, let's just make a movie about like nothing and drag it on for like, was it like 2.5 hours? And like the coolest part is just watching her fly through the air. You're like, oh, wow, she's flying. This is cool. This feels nice. She's very attractive, but it's just like, is that all a movie is these days? I don't know. Welcome, new person. How are you today? The other thing is like, somebody came on and ran away. So back to me and myself. So What was I going to say? I had a thought. I did, I promise. Oh, yes. So when I'm doing these streams, I can't see who. I can just see it's like one person's watching you, two persons watching you, three people are watching you, and it's just like I have no idea who those people are. Like I don't know if there's a way that I can have a list where I see it's like, oh hey, it's you. I know you. You're back from last week. Or it's like, oh, I don't know you. You're a stranger. Welcome. So it's just like every time I'm talking to people, it's just like I'm talking to strangers, I guess. I don't know. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Nintendo, Hercules, don't run away. Come back. Okay. I still need to wake up. I'll be turning 35 this year, so things have to change. I promised myself that by the time I'm 35, I'll be a brick house. So have to get started on that. Oh, really hard time sleeping lately. I don't know. There's nighttime comes and I can't fall asleep, and then I fall asleep at like 4 a.m. and then I don't want to wake up in the morning, and it's just a never-ending cycle of loss of sleep. Welcome, new person. How are you? Are you having a good Sunday? Any plans on this beautiful day? It's like pouring snow outside. It's like he sits and chills so nicely, and then I get my coffee, and then he's like, I'm not staying with you anymore. I want to move on to better things. You're boring. Thanks, Hercules. That's what I get for feeding you and cleaning you, finding you a nice woman, you know. I bought her for you. It's like we're matchmakers. We're like, well, you're a nice looking boy. We're gonna find you a nice looking girl. Arranged. I arranged. Oh, my snake. Maybe that's what I should start doing. I should do little wedding videos. Like, oh, so stupid. It's so stupid, but like people probably like it, you know. We're gathered today before you to have the I don't I don't even know what to say. To put these two snakes together, and Hercules, Calypso will be yours for this season, and in a few years, she'll leave you for one of your children. Thank you for the like. You know what I'd like even more than a like, though? A conversation. So I don't have to sit here talking to myself every Sunday. And then by the time my stream is like over and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to stop now. And it's like, now I can't because there's like 5 people talking to me. Woo! Hercules. Hercules. Don't bite my toe. Don't bite my toe. Who was it that did it? Calypso was hanging out with my buddy Carlos, and she started smelling his hand, and then she just went. But she's getting better. She's getting a lot better, and that's good because she's getting bigger too, so I'm not looking forward to taking eggs from her next week. Not next week, next year. I don't think she'll be making babies for a while. I'm so excited to have Superdwarf babies. It's gonna be very exciting. I never forget the first time that I touched one of these. So I was at a reptile show and I saw these guys and it was a baby. I held it in my hands and I was just like, oh, it feels so good. I want one. How much are they? Oh my goodness, $1,300. I was just like, oh. And then I went back home and I just kept thinking about it. First I was thinking, oh, it felt so silky. It felt so smooth. It was so beautiful. And then it was like, I'm not gonna spend $1,000 on a snake. I'm not gonna do it. And now I have like 6 of them. But I don't know, your viewpoint changes over time because before I would never spend $1,000 on a snake. Now, like I'll never really buy a snake unless it's more than that. Because it's just like they really are. They're half a lifetime animals. When you buy something like this, it's gonna last you half your lifetime. They're gonna live with you for like 30, 40 years. So like you're gonna spend $100, $200 on a snake, and then you're gonna be spending thousands of dollars over the long run feeding it anyways. Like in the long run, like every 10 years, you'll spend about $1,000 feeding the snake. So it's just like, why not, empty your wallet now for a lifetime of beauty, because you're gonna get to see it all the time. It's gonna be so beautiful, and every time you never regret. I don't know. I've never regretted purchasing like an expensive animal. Never. Anybody want to say hello? Oh, my coffee's going to finish, and then I'll talk to you some more. Right now, I'm just relaxing and enjoying my coffee, unless anybody wants to say anything. Then we'll talk about, I don't know, the woes of life or something. Ooh, another person. Welcome. I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire or something. It's like, ooh, hello, welcome. Well, aren't you having a beautiful day? And then they leave. They leave. They come, I say hi, and they leave. Mark my words, one day it'll be so busy, everyone will want to say hi, and I'll say hi to them too still. Because I'm friendly like that. But I don't know, life is funny. I've always been a misfit. I've never really fit in anywhere. I never liked the cool kids. Because the cool kids always seem to be led by some nasty person. Like, there's never a group of cool kids where they're all like nice and friendly and kind to each other. It's always like one poop head that like I don't know, it's usually one or the other. They're either like privileged or they're like nothing. They like I find that there'll be like a bully that like just bullies them because they're like fancy or bullies them because like they're trailer trash. Hello, Adam. I've been okay. Like life is like I'm enjoying life. I got a lot of time. It's also very scary though because just my salon's closed down and every month I'm collecting the government money, but half of it goes to here, the other half of it goes to pay for a salon that I don't get to use. I'll always remember you, Adam, but I don't even know how I know you. I can't remember. So tell me. Give me a recap. Are you related to Ryan Reynolds? Do you get that all the time? When I was in grade 1, I lied to a kid. I told him that I would give him $1 for an Oreo if he gave me an Oreo. And the next day I didn't give him $1. And that's the kid that ended up becoming the coolest kid in school. So him and his friends used to like beat me up after school and pick on me and be mean to me. So that was my elementary school life, and it's all my own fault because I should have never lied or scored that Oreo cookie. uh, but I don't know. Some people just everything kind of works out, and other people have to like really work their butt for it. But then when you do really work your butt for something, no one can really take it from you, and it's not really relied on anyone else. So yeah, nothing really worked out in my life until I started working for myself and finding ways of just making life work. Because we grow up in a society that's designed for failure. Like we're from the time you go to school, what does school tell you? Oh, what do you want to be? I want to be an astronaut. It's like you can't be an astronaut, or if you want to be an astronaut, you're going to be in school half your life. Plus, it's just like how much space do we even have for astronauts? Awesome. It's always nice to know that I've been a good influence on people. How are you enjoying it? Do you regret it or best decision ever? And tell me about it. What kind of boa did you get? What do you guys do for fun? Did you get a baby? Did you get an adult? Did you get a morph? Did you rescue one? Tell me everything, Adam. I'm here for you. This would be the I'm here for you show. Oh man, if that's what you're into. So, did you get a baby or did you get an adult? Okay, life, life. Back to life lessons. Life lessons with that. Welcome, new people. Welcome. Say hello. Join in the conversation. Participate. Ask any questions you desire to know. Let's play 100 questions. I'm also taking song requests, so if you want to hear me do some karaoke, go for it. I can go the distance somehow be strong. I know every mile will be worth my while. I will go most anywhere to find where I belong. Yep. You just gotta hold it a lot and play with its face. Here, what can we do? Oh, I clicked. Okay, I don't know if this one. Okay, here we go. That's the one for you. I don't know if you've already seen it, but if you haven't, the biggest thing is to hold them. You hold them a lot and you play with their faces. Sometimes you can get them to calm down in your hands, but if you don't do, like, if you don't play with their faces, you're not gonna kind of break that barrier. I have a friend actually that she she just had the same thing. She had a king snake that was biting her all the time, and she started doing that. And now yesterday she sent me a video. She's like, "Yay, my snake is nice," and she has it like in her hand, and she's rubbing its face, and they're doing good. But now's the time that you have to break those patterns, because if you don't break those patterns now, it's going to grow into an adult that behaves the same way. Because their behavior doesn't really change, and when they're young, that's when you can really teach them and train them. But lots of the time, pet store animals like just haven't been handled much. Sometimes they haven't been fed much. So you just gotta make sure the conditions are on point, and that just handle your boa daily, and it will get better. The nice thing with boas is their bites are not that bad. Like if I had to choose between being bit by like a big boa or a little one of these guys, I'd rather get bit by a boa. Because these guys have kind of nasty teeth. Nasty teeth, don't you? But Hercules is pretty good. He'll come out at me when it's feeding time. But if it's not feeding time, he's become really good. And with Calypso, she's been pretty good lately too, but I don't really trust her. She did bite me in the face once. Hercules has always been a little bit nervous, but he's pretty good. Like this, the Superdwarf Retics are my favorite snake, but I don't really recommend them to people as pets right off the bat because they're wired differently. They think differently and they behave differently. They're not as some can be like calm, but they have like these when I hang out with a boa, I never feel like its personality will just like switch on you like that. With these guys, they can be like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like they'll act all nice and then just bam, they'll like freak out on you. I don't know why my camera is blurry. Is it blurry? Yeah, my camera's bloody blurry. Okay. Once. There, I'm clear, I think. I don't think I'm clear, and I don't know why I'm not clear. Why am I not clear? Video capture device. Whoops. Do, 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 do. I feel like it's like focusing on my bloody microphone. Very strange. There we go. We are clear. Well, happy news. So on Social Blade, it said that it would take me 5 years. It would take me 5 years to get 5,000 subscribers. That made me want to give up. Now it says in 5 years I'll have 65,000 subscribers. So that's a lot better. I have too many snakes. I have a lot. Well over 100. But like, if you don't count all the babies, I probably have about 40, 50 adults. So I'm trying to. I always say I'm trying to downsize, and then people see me get things sometimes, but it's like I bought one snake. Yeah, I bought one snake this year, and it was I basically imported a beautiful IMG from the UK, and it was just like, I don't know, I saw this snake, and I'm the type of person where it's just like I don't really buy anything until I see that one, and it's just like, oh my goodness, that's the snake I need, and I'll just like obsess over it and save up or find a way to get it because I don't know, I look at I don't know if it's terrible to say this, but people that are smart business wise and whatever will invest in stocks. And for me, since I'm doing like reptiles and breeding them like as a hobby and stuff, and it's kind of like a mini side business. Actually, this is the first year that I'm like legitimate legitimately like a reptile breeder because before so for the past 8 years I haven't really made much. I just kind of I spent so much money like getting set up and getting everything bit by bit. But last year was like I'd be spending about $2,000 to $3,000 a year on rats, and I'd be making about 3,000 a year, and that's basically how the first 5 years went. Then I started making about like 4,000 a year, 3,000 a year, and then last year I made about 15,000 selling snakes, but I also spent 5,000 like reinvesting into it. So now this is basically my first year that I'm legitimately a business because kind of like I have to be. And then at the same time, it's also I'm not allowed to make over $1,000 a month now. So it's just like I have these super dwarf snakes coming, and I'm not even going to be able to sell them at the rate. Like I'm going to kind of have to have one buyer a month. It's going to be like, okay, you get to buy for January, you get to buy for February, because it's just like if I sell more, then I don't get to collect the government money. And it's just like, as much as I don't want to rely on the government money, to me it's stupid to kind of not take it. Because here's my big issue. Usually my hair salon makes me $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And I only work 2 days a week. So it's just, that's a pretty good deal. I work 2 days a week. I spend a whole week raising my daughter, and I have $2,000 to $3,000, and it covers my expenses. It gives me a little bit of money, And then what ended up happening is COVID came, my salon's basically shut down, and now I get $1,800 a month, and basically I have to pay for my salon still. But the big thing is that when the salon reopens, I'm probably not going to be making much more than the rent costs, like, because people have been hit so hard, and they've broken all their patterns. Like, so many people that went to the gym all the time now don't go to the gym. And when all the gyms open, do you think everyone's going to be rushing to get memberships again? Like, probably not. And lots of people now have taught themselves how to cut their own hair, or they're going to someone's basement or something, so they found other ways to get by. So they might not want to, like, come see me and pay what I charge. But so, like, I've been trying to spend this time to just, like, bust my butt on YouTube, make as videos as I can, make as many videos as I can, and get to the point where this can start becoming my more kind of sustainable business. But it's rough. It's like, in the past 2 years, I've produced over 200 videos, so I'm like a full-time YouTuber, but I haven't been paid anything. So it's just like, I don't make any money from YouTube. The only money that I make from all this is when I sell some snakes. So, but it's fine. Like, I do enjoy this. I enjoy having fun. I enjoy teaching people, and it's just, to me, it's a good, wholesome hobby that keeps me out of trouble too. Because it's just like, when you keep yourself busy, it's just good for everything. There's lots of the time when you get down, or when you get depressed, or when things start to bother you, you start rotating negative thoughts. You start thinking to yourself. And one of the worst things for people is to have too much spare time. And basically, I was one of those people where when I was single, I was always kind of depressed and lonely, and I didn't know what to do, and I just, drink and get myself into trouble. And now, like, I'm totally sober, so I don't drink at all. And I went from having, like, way too much time to now I feel like time just slips through my fingers. I don't know what to do with it. Like, it's gone. Because you get married, and then all of a sudden now there's what you want to do, but then like, every day that my wife is off, I ask her, what do you feel like doing? And I just kind of entertain her. And then when she's at work, most of the time Avery's here. And then Avery goes over to her grandparents on Friday and Saturday. So then I'm home. Like, today, Ariel's at work, Avery's with the grandparents, and I'm home alone all day. So today's my day to basically clean everything. But I don't have any time to really be down or depressed or worry about anything. I'm always cleaning snake crap, or shooting a video, or editing a video. So it has been, this hobby has been really good for my life, because I have really bad ADD. So it's just like, I can't, I need to always be doing something, or else I drive myself insane. Yeah. And like learning to do photography, learning to make videos, learning how to edit videos, and try, like, I've been editing all my videos on my cell phone for the past 2 years. So then I bought all the parts to build a computer, and then learned how to build a computer, and now I got like a really nice computer to edit videos on, but I don't know how to use the software, and it's like, it takes me like 2 hours to put together a simple video on the computer, and I can do that in about half the time on my cell phone. So it's just like, you get used to doing it one way, and now I know eventually learning the other way will eventually increase the workflow, be able to do more things, and I want it to keep kind of getting better. But at the same time, it's like, I'm one person, like, lots of, well, like, all the bigger channels, they have someone editing the videos and doing all that stuff. Hi, Tessa. Nice to meet you. I don't know. I think this is your first time talking on one of these, but I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoy that. Yeah, the animals have been such a great tool in teaching Avery because she knows she's only 3 years old, but when I hang out with other when I go outside and I just see other kids, like I'll see 5 year olds that like are not talking as clearly, and I think that lots of people don't realize what children are capable of, and that's a big problem in our society because it's just you look at poor countries where people have nothing, and the kids go and do stuff. They beg for money, they know how to cook, they know how to take care of themselves. And then you come here and lots of kids are bloody useless. Thank you, Tessa. So from the time Avery was born, like Ariel had her first year off, and then it was basically me. I'm the full-time dad, and I've always talked to her. I've always talked to her like she's an adult. And I've never, even if she didn't really understand from the time before she could speak, I always just talked to her like she was an adult. So it's one of the things that I'm like sensitive about. Like most people do love watching her do snake stuff, but every now and then I'll get somebody that like will question my parenting or like, oh, you let her do that. Recently I had someone like give me crap about her feeding with little tongs, but it's like I'm very protective of her, but I really teach her because when you teach a child, that protects them. But if you protect them, it doesn't really teach them anything. My oldest snake is 12 years old. But yeah, from the time she was little, I never really blocked off areas of the house. I never child-proofed anything. I just told her you're not allowed to do that. And positive reinforcement, or like the two things I think that everyone needs is constructive criticism and encouragement. Because criticism doesn't help anyone. It makes everyone feel like crap. For you to go and say mean things to someone, what does that really say about you? And how does that make the person feel? Does it make the person want to change? Not really. Whereas constructive criticism, like coming from the right place, is really good. But then again, sometimes negative criticism helps you too. Like I had my leopard geckos in little homes, and I knew I wanted to put them in bigger homes. And somebody told me, like somebody met, like, oh, those homes are tiny, and I'm just like, yeah, you're right. And that kind of helped me make them bigger homes faster. So I did that. And when I was first starting with the YouTube stuff, my wife is my harshest critic. So she just said, you know what, you're boring. I was just like, thanks. But then it helped me because I cut my videos. Before, I think I used to talk a lot more and have a lot of like extra, like useless stuff. And now in the videos, I try to cut them and make them a bit shorter and just give the information that you need and have a little bit of fun. Welcome, new people. Join in, talk, ask questions. Where are you from, Tessa? There's also like there's a pretty decent delay, I think, from the time that you say something or that I say something that you get to hear it. So I don't know how to get rid of that. Oh, California is wonderful. Well, I have an own like so my mother is from Ecuador, but my whole like her whole family moved to the States. So they're all around the States and some of them are in California. And I love California. The weather's like just beautiful. I think there's like an area where they have like car shows where all the old cars like drive into like this like carnival fair type of thing. I just think another thing that's really cool with snakes is that they they every single one has a different personality, and when you spend time with them you can learn to like really read them and see them. I live in Florida but really want a super dwarf. Legal here. Trey, you just got a message. Garrett from Reach Out Reptiles. Okay, Johnny, with Boas, honestly, my favorite morph is a Sunglow. Sunglows are like they're simple. They're not that like crazy, but to me the way that a nice Sunglow looks, you can't really beat it. I like it's funny because you go into the hobby sometimes having your dream snakes that you want, and then when you get them, they're not as like I have Sterlings, which are like some snakes that are like the first produced in the world, and they're close to $10,000, and I don't really spend as much time with them as I do with my Sunglow, which is like I don't know, like a $600 snake. So it's just like the price doesn't matter, the morph doesn't even really matter. It's what you look at and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. Like with the retics, I love them when they don't have a I like snakes that don't have a pattern, and then all the different colors and stuff. But then also, like when you look at ball pythons, clowns are my favorite. Okay, so you fell in love with boas, saw my daughter feeding them. Now you're hooked on. Yeah, she's so good. And I raised her to be tough, so it's like I wrestle her, I tickle her, and like I'm really rough with her, like in a good way. Like I don't hurt her at all, but I wrestle her and I rough her up and I make sure that she's a tough kid. So whenever she can't hang out with kids that are smaller than her because she's too like rough with them. And then with older kids, like she'll have kids that are like a year or two older than her come over, hang out, and she'll take this. You're coming to my room. We're gonna have a tea party, and like if you were to come over, Avery will come. She'll take you by the hand. She'll like, come. I want to show you my room, and then she'll be like, we're gonna have a tea party. You sit there. Now you're gonna have this, and I'm gonna have that, and she'll tell you what to do. So I'm raising her to be a little mini boss, and because kids are cruel, and it's like I grew up in a cruel world, and I think it's even worse now. The weather is freezing. Yeah, there's snow. The weather here is bipolar. Wake up freezing. There's a crazy place. Yeah, you care. Yeah. Oh, she's great, and if you see like the stuff that I do with hair, I love like just like taking a day off, going on the streets, finding some homeless people, and just like cutting their hair for them. That's one of my favorite things to do, and I haven't been able to like capture it that well, but now that I know how to kind of like use a camera better and everything, and have friends that are willing to kind of come along, It's the COVID has kind of really stopped all that, but I'm looking forward to her being able to come and do that stuff with me and just kind of teach her how to be nice to people. Uh, I miss the old world, you know, where people used to walk down the street and say hi to each other. So whenever we go down the street, everyone that passes by, Avery says hello to. She goes, "Hi, hey, hi, good morning, good afternoon." Like she's friendly with everyone, and I've taught her to be that way. And Ariel sometimes says, like, you know, you shouldn't teach her to talk to strangers, but to me, you shouldn't really. You have to teach kids to be smart. She knows. Like I tell her, you know, when we're out, you always have to be with me. You always have to be where I can see you, and I don't let her out of my sight. So you teach kids to be cautious and to be smart, but I don't want to teach her to be afraid of people. I tell her, you know, you have to stay near me because somebody might want to take you and whatever. But as long as you're with me, no one can do anything bad to you because it's just like words cannot describe what I would do to anyone that would try to ever hurt my kid. Like, don't even want to go there. Also, it's like I like having her in the videos and watching her grow is kind of like my way of having like a video diary of our life. And in the hair industry, I used to do a lot of like fashion stuff and deal with a lot of the commercial things. And everyone's like, "Oh, you should put her in commercials. You could turn her into a little like TV child." And it's just like I would do it with her for fun, but I would never really want her to explode or anything because it's like there's a balance. And if you end up doing, let's say she became a little superstar, it's like you end up actually robbing them of a normal life. And it's like I want her to have a pretty crazy fun life, and I don't care to exploit her at all. I want her to she'll still be here and have fun, and if people like it, great. But it's more about having fun and getting by. Because I can't I don't I've never been rich. I've never had a ton of money. I grew up in a basement with my father, and everything that I built on my own. My first hair salon I opened when I was 25, and I slept on a couch. And now, like, I make enough to get by. But and I could make a lot more if I worked a lot more, but then I also wouldn't be able to stay at home with my daughter. So being able to stay at home with Avery and being able to, like, you know, be a good dad and have all that time, that means much more to me than money does. And being someone that, like, I used to work in like the fanciest salons in Toronto, and I'm telling you, the people with the most money lots of the time are the most miserable. So I've never really I want to make enough to get by. It'd be nice to make a little bit more and be more comfortable, but having too much money is probably worse than not having enough. It causes all sorts of different problems. Like even just friends, you know, friends that want to use you or take advantage of you. Whereas when you don't have any money, no one's gonna come asking you for it. No one's gonna like, you know, bother you that much. So, and people won't be like jealous of you either. So it's just like dealing with all those things. There's all sorts of different problems. So it's just like you just gotta coast. But yeah, it'd be nice to make a little more and be able to go on more like trips or something. But the best things that we have in life are free. You just have to appreciate them. Yeah, spiel. There's our life speech. Anybody else want to join in? We have almost 10 people. Oh, noise cancellations. Are you guys all finding that? Just see. Noise cancellations. Okay, let me just check. If I go into my filters, I don't know. I think the noise suppression. Okay, let's try this. Okay, does that sound better? Is that clearer? My tell me if the sound is now better, like if it sounds better or worse. I just changed the setting on it. Better, worse, clear, less clear. Was it better before? Well, which breeding plans do you want to hear about? Okay, thank you. Yay. Still learning all the software and stuff and all the different settings. Also now like my nose is super itchy, so yeah. My big breeding plans for this year are basically I have a Moonglow IMG that I just need to prove is IMG because there's babies, but they're all albinos, and I don't know which ones are IMG or not. So I'm breeding him to like other snakes and finding out if they're carrying other genes through him because albino and anery are very popular genes. So lots of the times when you buy a snake, sometimes they'll have that in them. So by breeding him to some of my unknown gene snakes, I can find out if they're carrying those other genes. So I'm breeding him to a couple snakes that are more plain just to see what they're carrying. And then after I know, then I'll probably be selling those because I'm going to be making room for like 3 4 gene snakes. So in the next few years, I'll be putting together like I'm gonna be making boas that have like 6 genes, 8 genes, kind of like taking them to the level that ball pythons are at. So the goals eventually is something like a leopard moonglow sterling IMG, like and just keep pushing it. But it's just I've been raising different families carefully to kind of have different gene pools. And then with the super dwarfs, same kind of thing. Like he's a full grown super dwarf, and he's just like the perfect size. But my female 75% is like double the size of him. Oh, my nose. Okay. Yeah, my female 75% is like double the size of him. I'm going to go get her. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get Queen. No, I'm not getting Queen. I'm getting Ivy. Okay, so I put... So this is a 75% Superdwarf also. And you can see she's way bigger. And the one that is, the one that's for sure pregnant is quite a bit smaller than she is. This one just doesn't want to breed, I don't think. But I basically wanted to get 75% female albinos and then basically sell her. That's like one of the biggest things that kind of stinks about working with hets. Like sometimes you like to save money, you buy snakes carrying genes to make the ones that are visual. But then after you've done that, like I don't want to keep producing and producing. I want to kind of just have the ones that I wanted and then keep making more. So it's just like to raise her kind of for a clutch of babies. And then the problem is like then if you sell her to if I sell her to someone nearby and then like so I've raised her, she's like 5 years old. Yeah, I think she's like 5 years old. So it's just like you raise a snake for 5 years to get a specific like gene or specific babies, and then you spent those 5 years raising her, and now you don't really want to sell her to somebody else, even though you don't really kind of need her as much for your breeding plans. And so then if I sell her to somebody else, I've spent the 5 years raising her, and then somebody else could breed her the next year and basically get what took me 5 years to do. They can do it in one if they can actually get her to breed. So like that's kind of like another thing to kind of think about, or that's like kind of hard, because I don't have a factory where I can just have more and more and more. I'm limited to a room. And I also never want to have a factory. I want to keep everything kind of the size that it is and kind of scale down. Less animals, but kind of like fancier ones. And do things that way as opposed to more and more and more and more and more. Because it's easy to get greedy and to kind of care less about the animals and just be like, you know what, yeah, I don't want somebody else producing them and competing with me. I just want to breed her every year and get as many babies I can and make as many sales as I can until the people that have bought babies are able to breed them. Kind of like race them to it. But I like it more kind of, it doesn't matter what I sell to anyone because it's going to take them years to be able to get where I am, and by the time they get there, I'm already going to have like something a few years more advanced. Any questions or things you want to talk about? Do, do. Okay, well, I hope you all have a nice day, and I'm gonna toodaloo, so see ya.